This morning, Spokane leaders will meet to discuss the possibility of moving to phase 3 of reopening, and it coincides with a visit from Washington Governor Jay Inslee. It also comes as the area is seeing its biggest 3-day spike in new coronavirus cases.
And outside, sunny skies. We'll talk about warm temperatures and 80s coming around.
Up with KREM begins now.
6:31 on your Thursday morning. We have all been stuck at home for months, traveling for fun off the table. Once the coronavirus concerns have lifted, you can see some pretty great travel deals. Coming up in just a few minutes, our Nicole Hernandez joins us with more information. We do want to hear from you first, though. Text 509-448-2000. Tell us, what would you think about traveling later this year? Where would you like to go? Fill us in on your thoughts. Let's welcome in Jen York, Evan Narani with us again this morning. We're going to join in with Evan in just a little bit. Or actually, we're going to join in with Jen in just a little bit. We're going to take a look outside with Evan Narani right now. Of course, part of the first full week of summer. Temperatures are rising up into the 80s this week. Evan Narani joining us with how long that trend is expected to last, Evan.
Good morning. Yeah, it is another beautiful day. Look outside. I mean, you can see the sun's rays beaming in. It is beautiful out there. A little bit of a lens flare. We're expecting temperatures to really warm up into the 80s in the afternoon and in some cases the 90s across central Washington. Now, some of you ran into some thunderstorms yesterday. I know that happened thanks to plenty of viewers who sent photos and videos of what happened, and we were expecting that. That was normal as this very weak cold front made its way through. But now we wait for the next cold front. That's going to take place Saturday. You can see how all of that activity has retreated off to the east of us. So now we're clear and dry, but that was the view last night as those clouds push farther off to the east. So what do we have to start off the morning? Well, mainly 50s and 60s. 59 degrees right now in Pullman with sunny skies. It's 60 degrees in Spokane at the International Airport with just a few clouds out there. The afternoon going to make it to 84 in Spokane with average being 76, so we'll be about 8 degrees above average. Overnight lows in the same range, and then rain. That's another thing on that right-hand side of your screen. We're going to see those numbers hopefully increase for our rain this month. That's because we're expecting showers to jump into the forecast mainly about Sunday and Monday, and that's as we see that next strong cold front arrive that will knock those afternoon high temperatures down to below average to the upper 60s. We'll have more details on what that looks like coming up in about 10 minutes. Let's take a look at what your traffic situation looks like on the roads. Here is the I-90 exit around Sprague Avenue, where people are definitely getting started with that morning commute. You can see a lot of activity this morning. We don't have any backups or delays to note, and if we see any, we will let you know. I'll send things over to Jen working from home.
All right, Evan, thank you so much. 6:33 now. Well, happening today, Washington Governor Jay Inslee is paying a visit to Spokane. He is expected to meet with frontline workers amid the pandemic and our local leaders. He has a series of meetings planned at Washington State University Spokane, with his first meeting set for 12:30 p.m. with the Spokane Alliance. KREM 2 will have team coverage today, tracking the governor's visit both on air and online. And that is where you can read more right now about who else the governor will meet with. For updates throughout the day, be sure to check out the KREM 2 mobile app and KREM.com. Also happening today, Spokane County leaders are expected to meet to discuss the possibility of moving Spokane County into phase 3 of reopening. Now, county commissioners say it's necessary for businesses to survive. But our area's leading health expert says we are seeing an uptick in new coronavirus cases. And they add only 5 of those new cases, among hundreds in the past month, are linked to protests.
Its behaviors. It is something that we're seeing both at the local, state, and national level. Young people, especially since Memorial Day, have gotten out and they have socialized, and in doing so, they are finding themselves in settings such as restaurants/taverns that are potentially putting them at risk.
Now, even though leaders are expected to discuss moving to phase 3 today, leaders with the Spokane Regional Health District say it's not likely in the near future. Disneyland is delaying its reopening as coronavirus cases are on the rise in California. The theme park and resort is right now set to open July 17th, but the company has canceled those plans. It will not issue new guidelines until after the 4th of July. Meanwhile, in Florida, Disney World is set to open mid-July. Florida employees, though, are petitioning to delay the reopening. Well, starting tomorrow, face coverings will be required in Washington. It is required indoors and outdoors when 6 feet social distance cannot be maintained. It would not apply to someone walking in their own neighborhood alone, and you don't need to wear one while you're in your car alone. There are some exceptions to the mask rule as well, including children under the age of 5 don't need to wear one, people who are deaf or hard of hearing, and those who have health issues impacted by face coverings do not need to wear one as well. And this morning, Joshua Robinson is joining us back in studio now for a look at the local coronavirus cases here in Spokane County. Good morning.
Hey, Jen. Yeah, we're going to kind of piggyback off what you talked about earlier by taking a closer look at Spokane County's latest COVID-19 cases by the numbers, by looking at data from Spokane Regional Health District. Now, let me explain why we reached the numbers that we're showing you here this morning. One of the metrics that we talked about and the fact that local and state health leaders are going to watch, especially today with that meeting between local leaders to discuss the move into phase 3. One of the things that's going to be looked at is a combined 14-day total of cases. So looking back any 2-week period. So let's pick a day. For example, this day, June 18th, the number I listed on that date is 244 cases. That means that over the previous 2 weeks, the previous 14 days, that was what the total was, 244. And one of the guidelines by Governor Inslee's office for each county is that they have to report less than 25 new cases per 100,000 people in a population over this 2-week stretch. So for Spokane County, with a population of about 500,000, that means we would have to hit about a 125 total case mark over a 2-week stretch. So that is what these lines represent. The orange line representing the mark we have to hit, and the blue line representing where we have been. And as we can see, the movement just is not happening downward. In fact, based on the early numbers that we have over the past 2 weeks, the trend appears to only be moving up. Of course, health leaders looking for that downward trend as soon as possible. Now, many of us have also had to cancel our travel plans this year in response to the coronavirus as we take a look at what's trending this morning. If you're looking forward, though, to booking a trip when those concerns start to fade away, this story is for you. Nicole Hernandez joining us now to go over some of the new deals that different countries are offering people who are looking forward to traveling down the line. Nicole?
Yeah, that's right, Joshua. So those countries that normally rely on the money that they generate from tourism are really struggling right now. Some have lost millions on millions of dollars. So in order to get tourists back in their country, some of these countries are actually deciding to help tourists pay for part of their trip. And this whole phenomenon is actually starting to go viral on TikTok. Take a look at this. So this video right here on social media, the social media app is getting millions of views. So I did some digging into some of the deals that this talks about, and here's what I found. So the Japan Times says that Japan is subsidizing some travel expenses for people visiting. They don't mention any specifics, but it's definitely an opportunity to save. Sicily, Italy is looking into paying for half of travelers' flights and every third night of hotel stay. That's according to the Times. And then Business and Life publication The Insider says Cancun, Mexico is also planning on helping tourists out with hotels, car rentals, and activities. There's also several places that are going to be paying for travelers to get COVID tested before coming into their country. Now, these deals aren't just helping out travelers, though. It's a way for these countries to revamp their economies, especially the ones that rely on tourism for a good chunk of their income. To just kind of put into perspective how much of a hit tourism took this year, one news site in Japan said that the country saw 99% less people staying there this April compared to April 2019. So most of their tourism just completely gone because of the COVID-19 pandemic. So if you do decide to take advantage of some of these awesome deals and go travel this summer, this fall, when all of this starts to loosen up a little bit, just remember that when you do go traveling to different countries that you're respecting how they're dealing with the coronavirus. Live from home, I'm Nicole Hernandez.